Am I the a-hole for not paying for my stepdaughter's birthday dinner? My wife has 3 kids, 2 sons, 20 male and 19 male, and a daughter, 16 female from her previous marriage. Their father was an addict but is now clean. He doesn't have custody of Susie, but does visit when he can. My stepson and I aren't close, but they've been respectful to me at least. My stepdaughter, on the other hand, has not. She genuinely doesn't like me. She refuses to talk to me. She doesn't want me attending her shows, and she doesn't accept any gift I have given her, usually giving them away or tossing it in the trash. She doesn't listen to me if I am the one enforcing rules when she is grounded. It has to be her mom who puts her foot down. Her birthday was last week, and she had tests that day. My wife wanted her birthday to be extra special because she was turning 16 and had good grades. She wanted to go to an expensive restaurant with her family. I was not allowed to come according to her, but she wanted me to give her mom the money to pay for it. But I told her I would not pay. She got upset and told me it was the least I could do and how she asks for so little. But I stood my ground, so her mom took her to a less expensive restaurant. Now Susie is upset with me. Her granddad is also upset with me, telling me I should have paid and that it was her 16th birthday that I ruined. My wife is on my side and says there's just no winning with her. But I also know how important becoming 16 is, and I feel bad for not getting her a gift at all. So am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. If Grandpa wanted her to have an expensive meal, he could have paid for it. You shouldn't be paying for meals for entitled teens. She needs an attitude adjustment. You cannot like someone and still be polite. Not the a-hole. You ruined nothing. Susie wants things her family can't afford. That's life. She has made it incredibly clear that you are not her family and that she wants nothing from you. Wish granted. And 16 is an anniversary of being born, not an accomplishment. She needs to decide what kind of relationships she wants with you, but as long as she is not at least being cordial, she gets no extras. I think Susie has decided. She has only started to learn that decisions may have consequences you don't like. She's still young. Hopefully, for her mother's sake, she can learn to be more cordial to her stepfather. You can dislike your parents' new spouses as much as you want or they deserve, but you can't expect them to spend their money on you if you've made it clear you hate them. She's young and stupid at her age, like all teenagers. I have sympathy to an extent because I've experienced how tough blended families can be for a kid. But if she rejects him totally, she can't expect him to pay. If it takes this to realize that maybe she should be nicer to stepdad, if only because he is the one with the money in the house, then it's a lesson learned. Though I doubt she will if the grandfather is backing her up. Don't get sucked into her paying for college though. Not the a-hole. She may be only 16, but that's not too young to learn basic respect. She can't treat you like dirt and expect you to bend over backwards and make her birthday special. Sounds like she's mad at the world and is taking it out on you. Hope she grows up a bit and sees reason. Next story. Am I the a-hole for never helping my older siblings out and letting my brother and his kids be homeless? My family is on a big divide about this, so I was hoping I could get an unbiased perspective. I am the youngest of 4 siblings by a huge gap. I am 22 female and my husband is 26. My siblings are 30 female, 32 male, 33 male. Between the 3 of them, they have a combined 14 children. They all have multiple children. None of them went to college and they all work lower-paying entry-level jobs. While I graduated last year, started college and high school, and I work as a nurse. My husband works on planes, but I don't want to say what he does specifically. Our household income is about $200K, when average where we live is about $80K, I think. This is all relevant. My parents like to host big family functions for every holiday, and they bring the whole family together. Ever since I was a teenager, my siblings have always asked me for favors, mostly to babysit. I did it for a while when I was around 16, but quickly realized they didn't appreciate anything, and there was nothing in it for me, so I stopped. And for the past 6 years, I've had the don't ask me for anything stance, since my siblings are the type to ask for favors, but never offer to help you when you need it. Like they always borrow money from our parents, but never pay it back. My oldest brother is getting evicted and asked if him and his girlfriend and their 4 kids could stay with me and my husband, as my husband and I own a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home. I told them no, because they have a habit of settling in somewhere and not paying rent and refusing to leave. They also let their 4 kids absolutely destroy every rental they live in, coloring on the walls, holes in the walls, etc. My brother and his girlfriend are now angry at me, and they blew up at us at my mother's birthday party last week. They're going to have to stay at a shelter, and they're saying it's my fault when I think it's their own lack of responsibility. My other 2 siblings chimed in, agreeing with my brother, and they think I'm a sucky a-hole. I think that my siblings suck, and I don't want my house getting torn up by their heathens. I know that if I let them move in, I'd end up having to evict them, and they wouldn't pay for anything at all. I think it's not fair that they always ask me for money just because I make more money than they do. And they treat my husband and I like we're some kind of upper-class snobs because we worked hard and made good choices in life to be able to buy a house early. Am I the a-hole for not helping my siblings? Specifically my brother, I guess. Many updates at the end. Not the a-hole. They don't pay money owed. They destroy other people's property. They also have parents and multiple other siblings. They have a history of not paying rent and having to be evicted. At this point, start asking why they're in a shelter and no one else is helping. Combined with all the siblings and parents, they can hustle and pay their rent on a new place. Since they're so invested and concerned, mom and dad can take them in. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Why can't your other brothers or sister take them in? Why is this your responsibility? All my siblings' stance on this is because my husband and I are the only ones with room. We use 1 bedroom to sleep in, 1 as a home gym and 2 as home offices. My other 2 siblings are stuffing up to 4 kids a room and have no way of making it work. I still don't think it's my responsibility though. It's not your responsibility. Your brother made the choices he did and made himself homeless. That's not on you. Again with the I'm poor but have 157 children. Come on, if you are low on money, just have 1 or 2 kids so nobody will starve or live in shelters. Why do people put themselves in this position? So that others in the family can pay for their family? These are not your children. Your siblings are not your responsibility. They are adults and should take care of themselves. If they were sick or had an accident and it was a one-time thing, okay. But no, they just don't pay rent for a habit. Not the a-hole. My brothers don't seem to know what rubbers are, and my sister had her first at 16 and kept them coming after that. She has 6 kids with 6 different men, and she's always convinced every guy she meets is the one. I don't understand them, to be honest. We grew up in a normal middle-class household, and our parents taught us proper sex ed. I really wish they'd all get it together, to be honest, but none of them want to go to college or anything. Don't help them. They will just spend all the money and try to suck more out of you. They have definitely done that to multiple relatives, lol. For the mini update, I'm offering to pay for everyone to get a vasectomy or tubes tied this Christmas and giving my brother enough money to cover the red roof in for a week. That's it. All I'm doing for anyone, and they better not call me ever because I'm not answering. Next story. Am I the a-hole for choosing to celebrate my sister's birthday instead of my dad's wedding? I, 27 male, have always been close with my younger sister Mary, 20 female. Mary has been overlooked by my dad from the moment she was born. My dad never wanted a daughter, and tensions with his ex-wife, Mary's mom, led to him basically excluding her from everything. Nothing she ever does is good enough for him, and she is often excluded from family gatherings. I, on the other hand, always try my best to include her, or even take her out just the 2 of us, to make her feel better. But it's obvious that being excluded hurts her a lot. I am my dad's golden child, and grew up spoiled, and while she tries not to show it, I can tell Mary's jealous of the attention my dad gives me. So a month from now is Mary's 21st birthday, and she's very excited about it. I live in a different state, but I made a promise to fly over on her birthday so that I could take her to get her first drink. We have been planning this for months, and I already got the tickets. Meanwhile, my dad, 56 male, is currently engaged to Janice, 57 female, and a few days ago he texted me, letting me know that their wedding plans changed, and they plan to get married in her parents' yard on June 8th. He said he knew it was short notice, but they agreed that a small ceremony would be better, so they could go to the beach for their honeymoon while it was still nice. Now, my problem isn't the short notice. My problem is that June 8th just so happens to be Mary's birthday. Like, not a day before or later. No, he plans to get married on his daughter's birthday. I brought that up, and my dad brushed it off saying it's just a date. And it wasn't like my sister was going to celebrate her birthday with us anyways. I told my dad I had already plans to fly down and celebrate Mary's birthday with her, and I wouldn't be able to make both events. He seemed shocked by this and asked why I didn't just cancel for his wedding since I'm already paying to come down. I could even bring Mary along and celebrate her there if it means that much to me. I'll admit, this angered me because the least he could do was acknowledge his daughter's birthday. I told my dad that I plan to spend my day with Mary, and the only way I will come to his wedding is if she is invited and decides to go. He tried to argue with me saying that birthdays comes every year and weddings don't, to which I responded that this is his third, so it's not that special, but my sister turning 21 is. My dad hasn't spoken to me since then, but Janice and other family have been calling and texting me nonstop. Janice even told me that my dad has been crying and miserable over what I said, and that my selfishness has ruined their wedding. I'll admit that what I said may be harsh, but I also stand by it. I am not the one being selfish here, and if my dad wants his child at his wedding so badly, he can have all or nothing. However, my dad and family are still mad at me, and saying that I'm being petty and ruining his big day. So am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. I would bet every penny I have that your dad did this intentionally. Screw him. The only valid reason to go to his wedding is to crash it with Mary and make a scene. Not that I'm suggesting this. He's already on marriage number 3. And do you really want to sit through any more of those than you have to? Crash or don't, but I'm the flavor of petty to drop technically true information in order to cause maximum chaos. Hypothetically, you could come back around for the reception with Mary and be astonished that your genetic donor planned a surprise party for her. Look, they even got the extended relatives into town to celebrate this big milestone birthday. What do you mean it's not for her? Today is his daughter's 21st birthday. What could be more important to him than that? He'd have to A, say that he forgot her birthday, B, admit it was on purpose, or C, go along with it and fold her birthday into the celebration. Toasted no matter what he does. Nah, just tell him you'll make up for it in his 4th wedding. Not the a-hole. Pick your sister. She deserves at least one family member who cares about her. Your dad can have Janice and keep crying. If his marriage to Janice even lasts that long, because his dad is such a moronic jerk to jinx his own wedding and marriage by having it on his daughter's birthday, I think the pressure and stress of knowing Opie will always pick a sister over his father is going to make father ruin that 3rd marriage, leading to a 4th wedding/marriage. Not the a-hole, especially since going forward, Opie will always going to celebrate his sister's birthday instead of his father's 3rd marriage wedding anniversary. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom she is stalkerish and to leave me alone? I, 33 female, married mother of 2, have a close relationship with my mom, and we often speak multiple times a day. However, some days I'm busy, have nothing interesting to say, or just don't check my phone for a few hours. This becomes a problem with my mom. If I don't answer messages or calls within a few hours, I get calls and messages asking if something is wrong. For example, I was going wedding dress shopping with a bridesmaid. Mom doesn't live close, so was unable to come. So I sent her pictures of dresses throughout the day and let her know when I'd chosen one. I told her I needed a shoulder covering of some sort, and that we were going to nearby shopping center to find one. I may have sounded a bit flustered, but nothing more than usual pre-wedding stresses. 1.5 hours later, my bridesmaid's phone rings. It's my mom, desperately trying to find out if I'm okay. My mom had only met this bridesmaid once, didn't know her well, and certainly didn't have her number. Apparently unable to contact me because it was loud in the shopping center, and my signal wasn't great, she'd become so concerned she'd contacted my husband to ask for his sister's number, the bridesmaid, and phoned her instead. This was just 1.5 hours after our last contact. This may seem a small irritation, except it happens all the time. Then yesterday, my mom texted me first thing in the morning. I text back. A few hours later, she called. I answered and told her we were about to leave for the park. After, we spent the afternoon gardening, and I left my phone inside. Around 5, just 5 hours after I last spoke with Mom, I saw she'd text me to ask if we had fun at the park at around 2:30 p.m. Busy cooking dinner, I intended to text back after eating. I next looked an hour later. She'd sent 2 further messages asking if something was wrong and had called me. She called again at that point. I answered, a little exasperated. She immediately began asking what was wrong. I told her nothing, and she needed to stop assuming things were wrong when her adult daughter is out of contact for a few hours. She said her actions were entirely reasonable because in the past I've had medical issues, none of which were serious. I told her it wasn't reasonable. In response, she said, "Well, I assume with that attitude, you were fine then." This made me a bit angry. This happens regularly, and I'm fed up being treated like a child when 33 with 2 children of my own. Surely it's okay to be out of contact with mom for a few hours? And in my annoyance, I said her behavior was bordering on stalkerish, and it's ludicrous to expect me to check in several times a day. This panic about my well-being is almost a weekly accordance. We haven't spoken since, but she deleted the messages she sent yesterday. Unsure what that achieves, but she tends to act like a wounded puppy when I bring this up. Each time, I feel guilty for hurting her feelings. But should I feel guilty? Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You need to set major boundaries with your mom. The fact she called your husband because she was worried about you to get someone's number. Why did your husband give it to her? He should have just said, "She's fine. You need to wait for her to call." She took it too far. Boundaries are important. At this point, I once again recommend the book, Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents by Lindsay C. Gibson. OP's mom is wanting to be enmeshed with her daughter, which is totally unhealthy. Not the a-hole. Your mother needs coping mechanisms, and you need to set boundaries and stick to them. There's no reason for your mother to be checking in on you multiple times a day. You have your own nuclear family that you need to spend time with. A once-a-week call with some text in between should be sufficient, and to expect responses back right away is ridiculous. I'm so sorry you have to deal with it. Caving in is in part enabling the behavior as well. Not the a-hole, but OP, you need to stop giving her what she wants. She will never improve if you don't stop answering like this. Having a relationship where you choose to call her every second day or so is better for you both long-term than you jumping every time she asks. She will react badly at first, but she's an adult, and she's responsible for managing her own emotions.